Hi, I'm Liz Brewer, and I am a third grade teacher taking educational leadership. Here I am with my three kids at a KU basketball game earlier this winter. Jack is my oldest. He's right next to me. He's 14, going to be a freshman in high school. Will is 10, and he'll be a fifth grader at the school I teach at. And then Molly, my daughter, is 12 and is in seventh grade. This will be my fourth grade, teaching third grade. I'm at St. Lee Elementary in Overland Park, Kansas. I taught first grade for 2 years, preschool for 4 years. I subbed a few years in between all that. And then I also stayed home for 9 years with my kids before going back. I received my undergraduate at KU in early childhood education. And then I went back to school after I graduated to get my teaching license from Avila University. I'm attending Fort Hays State University because I love teaching and I love being in the classroom, but I do not want to be the mean, grouchy teacher at the end of my career, not enjoying those things. I want to get out of the classroom before I hate teaching. I've worked with too many teachers that have been like that, so I don't want to be that person. So I'm getting my Master's of Science in Education with a license in Library Media Specialist to become a school librarian. So when I am done in the classroom, I'll be able to still teach the students and share my love of books and reading and love what I do, instead of being that grouchy teacher that has to deal with parents all day long. And then this is my second semester at Fort Hays State, and it's been a balance with single mom life, teaching, and everything else, but it's going pretty good so far. So 3 types of mindset. All students can learn. They have the right to learn no matter what, with any type of help, assistance, challenge, and then push to learn. Some students just need a little extra nudge to learn. And it all goes down to believing in themselves and having someone believe in them and just giving them different opportunities and forms of learning, because everyone learns in their own unique way. Teacher collaboration is huge. I believe if you're in isolation away from everyone else, that's when you're morally declining and you just are not a part of the community. The community is huge in teaching. And I believe teachers need to collaborate with each other, whether it's your teammates or at other schools, not necessarily to be teaching exactly the same things every day, but just to see how lessons are taught, answer any questions, because you know your class best. You know your students best, you know how they learn best, so you need to do what is best for your students. And happiness and optimism, it's not realistic to always be happy and optimistic, but just getting swept up in that negativity and the gossip doesn't do anyone good, especially as a school leader. You need to just try to find the bright side, not get into the gossip and the negativity, because you're a school leader and you are role modeling how to be a leader, and leaders do not need to be a part of any of that. It's okay to be frustrated with things, but then that's when you reflect on yourself and how can I improve on my teaching and my own learning and be a part of it, that types of situations. 5 types of dispositions. Confidence. You need to have confidence, believing in yourself, whether that's in the classroom, as a school leader, what is best practice for everyone involved. Being a risk taker, not having that fear of failure is huge. Sometimes you just need to dive on in, take that risk, and learn as you go. Sometimes you learn from those mistakes, and that's what happens. You learn from your mistakes. How can you not repeat that in the future? Sense of humor is huge. Just making any environment, any situation fun, laughing at yourself. There is a time to be respectful and firm in certain situations, but it goes back to building a relationship with your peers and with your students and having that strong foundation to be able to be respectful, but yet loving and kind, and being able to laugh at yourself. Being empathetic is a huge character trait I work on with my own students, that we all have different backgrounds, different lives, but in school, we are together and we need to understand that everyone is different. And as a leader, you just put in your best practice of putting yourself through someone else's shoes and how you can help them and work with them despite the differences. And then as teachers, we need to continually just be learning, keeping up to date in education trends, research, and being lifelong learners, because that's how we're going to improve our teaching and our students. 3 types of practices. Just focus and prioritize on the main goals for what is best for the school in your classroom. Our school goal next year is how to be Stanley strong, and how we envision Stanley Elementary as a strong school in the classroom and as a whole, whether that's with discipline. We're all on the same page with discipline. We're all on the same page with our students and our learning, and just how are we going to be role models in that. Examining feedback and data. I strongly believe there's more to student growth and progression than in data. I love working with my students in their small groups and one-on-one, because it shows way more information than a test we give 3 times a year or state test. I just feel like that little snapshot of a standardized test doesn't really show the full picture. And then emotional intelligence. We need to constantly be checking in and reflecting how we leave others feeling at the end of the day. I believe building leaders are a role model, and they need to make sure everyone feels accounted for, valued, and their voice is heard. And how are they left being felt after a conversation? So I feel like that is huge as a building leader. 8 principles of ethical leadership. Personal courage. You must believe in yourself with the ability to face that criticism and negativity. It's there, but how are you going to handle that when the time comes? Believing in yourself. Public interest ahead of self. Sometimes you just need to put your opinions off to the side and swallow your pride and do what the majority and what is best for the community. Self-control, self-discipline, and integrity are huge. Just being honest and true to yourself, that will show who you really are. It's just being true to yourself, being honest, and that will help build that relationship and that trust with your peers and your students. Task and employee centeredness, finding the right balance between the student and staff relationship to build up the school community, sometimes putting your friendships off to the side, and including everyone. Recognizing talent. A great leader will recognize all individual strengths and weaknesses, and that putting them on the right team and where they can grow further in their field, and how to help them with their weaknesses so that they're not holding them back. 6, requiring high ethics for everyone. A must for everyone involved in the school. Everyone is equal. Stakeholders, everyone is equal no matter what. Then sensitivity and understanding, empathy to all backgrounds, political, cultural, religious, finding that balance to include the support and all for everyone involved in the school. And inclusiveness. There's a huge focus on just math and ELA, but I strongly believe SEL needs to become first before any of that. If a student comes to school suffering with a mental illness, anxiety, depression, or they haven't eaten since the day before, I mean, their focus is not learning how to add. It's, when am I going to get my next meal? Am I going to be taken care of? What am I going to see when I get home tonight? Am I going to be in trouble? So I believe SEL is huge and all of it needs to be included together. My strengths, mindset. I work all year long with my own students on growth mindset, learning from our mistakes and building from them, reflecting, and looking at ways to improve. And how did I learn from my mistakes? I tell them all the time, we learn more from our mistakes than the easy route, and it's true. So, and I'd rather my students learn it now than when they're older, my age, and having a hard time feeling like a failure because they keep making mistakes. So mistakes help us learn and grow and get further, I believe, in life. And then engaging and collaborating with my peers, not just my team members, but our district. We get together a lot with our own grade levels and even at our leadership conference each summer. Being empathetically assertive, seeing how others view things, not looking just from your own point of view, but the point of view and vision of everyone, and making a collaborative decision that way. And then a sense of humor. I laugh at myself daily. I make mistakes daily, and I try to find the good in everything. So, I definitely am one to laugh at myself and my mistakes every day. My weaknesses. I definitely have a weakness with my own confidence, just making the right decision and being supportive of myself 100% rather than second guessing and worrying about the wrong route to take. Being a risk taker, I love trying new things, but I have to kind of get over that hump first of the newness. And whether it's a new reading program or even a new student, sometimes it's sometimes like, oh, I don't think I can do this. And then I just kind of have to learn the facts and then I'm okay, but it takes me a while. So I just need to be better at being that risk taker. And then practices, like I mentioned earlier, data is not really my friend. I think it's way too much, way too confusing. I think we spend way too much time, professional development time, on analyzing data. I just feel like there's way more we could be doing to help our students, but I know I need to embrace it and do it more. My own personal reflection. The practices and principles discussed is what I do daily in my class, and I try to do daily. And as a building leader, to equally educate all of my students. All students are worthy and deserve the best quality education daily. The factors holding them back are what us as building leaders need to make sure we're doing to prevent students from their right to an equal, fair, and deserving education. So whether it's ADHD, whether it's a problem at home, whether it's they're not know where they're going to school next year, if they're moving, no student should be held back because of any factors. And we as leaders need to provide the education that all students deserve. So with the principles and practices effectively put into place, the best quality of education will be given to each student. That is my presentation. Thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you this year.